Welcome back to the Black Pill. Today we're talking about in-grouping as an unfair debate tactic. In-grouping is fine. It's fine. Except that in-groups absolutely require out-groups. Um, Point one, we evolved here. Yeah. The human species evolved here. And 50,000 years ago, we were this proto-human roaming the countryside in small bands of like 20 to 50 related individuals, sort of scavenging the countryside for resources, like season 5 of The Walking Dead. And imagine these, Homo erectus or whoever it was at the time. It's been a good day, and we're laying on our backs, chewing some weeds that we found that make our brains go funny. And we're staring at the night sky, and we're talking, and most everyone is like those stars. They're just little holes in the. I suppose they didn't have pins or curtains. They're pinpricks in the curtain of night. Whatever language they might use to describe that. But one of us, is like, no, man, I think those are worlds far away, just like ours, with people just like us looking into the night sky and wondering. And everyone just laughs. You're so stupid, Forg. You're such a dummy. You know. Mm. If Forg pushes that argument too hard, Forg might alienate that peer group. And today, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, to think that other, those lights are stars and those stars have planets around them and whatever. Doesn't seem, that you can find your people online, and the people who agree with this proposition and with that proposition, you can find them for better or for worse, often for worse. But 50,000 years ago, if you push that too hard and you really piss off the other, weed chewing Homo erectus, they'll leave you behind. There it is. And if they leave you behind, you're dead. You might live another day or another year or 10 more years, but you're out of the gene pool. You're dead. You're dead. You were evolved from a long historic line of humans and proto-humans that went along with the majority for the sake of staying in the peer group. There you go. Okay, so we evolved here. Abandonment equals death. And the easiest way to create an in-group in modernity is to artificially threaten that in-group with an out-group. So think how basic military training works. We get all these people from all over the country, or sometimes from other countries, and we're bribing people with citizenship to serve in our military. And at the same time proclaiming how much we hate immigrants. So we get people from all over the world and shave everyone's head, put them in identical clothes. This is what Bob Sapolsky calls pseudo kinship bonds. We're going to create pseudo kinship bonds. We teach people to walk alike and talk alike and salute the same way and eat the same food and the easiest way to do that, you homogenize their appearance as much as you can. Take away their glasses, give them the BCGs. If you don't know what that means, I'm not going to explain it. But the Buddy Holly special, and you present them with this external threat, with a drill instructor, right? And that drill instructor is going to yell at you and make you do menial tasks perfectly, but there's no way to do them perfectly. Picking up the suitcases and putting them down again right off the bus, this irrational external threat. And what that forces the platoon to do, this training group to do, is congeal, right? To face this external threat together, to unify in opposition to this threat. And just a standard debate tactic is to get your people to fill up the hall and cheer for you and boo for them, and then use rhetorical tactics to put them on the outside, even if they're very much on the inside. So there you go. Make a them, a unified, homogenous other. They're all alike and they're out to get us. Secularists and evolutionists and words that don't really apply to the group at hand. So think about Ted Haggard. You're gonna have to look this one up. Think about Ted Haggard in the is it the early 2000s, and he has this youth ministry that he's doing, and he's just railing about how awful the homosexuals are. You know, just railing about people being gay, and all the time he's doing that, we find out a little later, because the escort that he's been hiring uh, uh, comes out to testify that Ted Haggard has been having sex with gay escorts and doing methamphetamines and all this stuff behind the scenes. He's really just maybe he has. I don't care about the dude. Maybe he has some internal conflict. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just an ass bag. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's on a holy mission and whatever. I don't care. The point is he's using the scapegoat, right? Scapegoating a vulnerable minority, us versus them, and here's them, and they're disgusting, and riling up those limbic systems, you know. And then you stop really thinking critically. You stop really thinking critically. The Bible just doesn't have that much actually to say about homosexuality, and what modern right wingers put into there is it not really not there. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah is about guest right, not about sodomy, and but this is about riling up limbic systems, threatening you with an out group, and thereby creating this in group so that so that we will unify, and then you can put anyone as the head of that in group, like why is modern Christianity so mad at gays and trans people, but not mad at all about billionaires and giant corporations polluting the earth and killing people and through with pollution and climate change? Not concerned about that at all, right? Doesn't the Bible have more to say about rich people and Jesus overturning tables, and the rich man has the same chance of getting into heaven as a man has of riding a camel through the eye of a needle, you know? And anyway, in groups, out groups. But when you create the in group around this external threat, then you forget about that external threat. And indeed, as long as there's cishet white dudes, the people really ruining your life can be in your in group, and it's fine. Think about, I've linked this before, think about Donald Trump's announcement speech in 2015, announcing for the presidency for the first time. And not verbatim, but pretty close. You know, he goes, China, something, something, China, we don't compete anymore. But Mexicans, you know, Mexico's not sending their best and their brightest, and they're all criminals, and they're bringing drugs, and they're bringing crime, and they're raping your women, and some I assume are good people, but somebody's doing the raping, you know, and they're in MS-13, and they're Arab terrorists because we can't tell the difference. It's just this horrifying anti-immigrant rant. I mean, how does a lifelong New York Democrat suddenly become the head of the Republican Party? How does he stay that way after losing the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and issues votes, you know? The anti-abortion thing is backfiring right now. Well, you do that by congealing this ideological in-group around you, and you're going to stand between them and this external threat. This is standard advice for women doing tech presentations, is men don't like women in tech presentations. They're other. You know, the stereotypes, the gender constructions of modernity don't support that. And so if you're going to go to TED and talk to a bunch of dudes, you have to be like, and you should listen to me because I also am into MacBook Pro, and I have a 40th level wizard on World of Warcraft or something, and bring yourself into the group, and then they will overlook the fact that you have female type body parts. And so what I'm asking you to do is consider all the things that your in-group believes, and Whether you are a member of that in group because you share the beliefs, or you share the beliefs because you're in the in group, is the popularity or in group status of an idea a good reason, a reasoned out, reasonable, logical reason to believe that idea? Um, this is God. This has gone so far south. Uh, this is the old experiment in the Israel-Palestine issue continuum, where we would present Israelis and Palestinians with ideas for peace, solutions to their conflict. This was 30, 40 years ago now. And we would strip off whose idea it was and replace it. Israelis would reject peace ideas if we told them they came from Palestinians, even though they actually came from Israelis, and vice versa, right? Because this in group hates this out group so much for good reasons on both sides, for good reasons. Um, then, because we tell you the source of the idea is your enemy, even though it makes good logical sense and you'd believe it if it came from your group, you reject it because it seems to come from that out group. That's just a super basic human tendency. And so one way I know if I'm going to be able to have a reasonable, good faith argument with someone, not a debate, I don't do debates, is when they start telling me their in group status and their belief status. In other words, I'm a Christian, therefore I believe X thing. Or we probably are not going to be able to get anywhere here. Versus, I believe X thing, therefore I'm a Christian. All right, now we might have something to talk about. I'm a conservative, therefore I believe this. Versus, I believe this, and that's what makes me lean conservative. All right, now we have something. Right now there's a basis for discussion, and I can start to find out the basis of those ideas, and I'm ready to change my mind based on new information if you are to change your mind based on information. And so that's in grouping in the nuttiest nutshell I can manage. Thanks for your kind attention. Okay, bye.